All right, so boom. So I'm sure you either have used TikTok, know about TikTok, or you've been hearing about this case. You like how I caught that a lot in the news. So pretty much what's going on is that our friends on the Hill is trying to make a landfill out of TikTok. They want to ban it from you can't use it if you are in the United States filming. You cannot use it. That is the force or the focus. But to take a step back, they've already banned it from governmental issued devices, correct? So now they're all going to say that it is a detriment to our society or the United States due to the fact that they're giving intel over to China if needed. But if you know the landscape of how communication based social media platforms work, they technically have been doing so already over here. So what I wanted to do is actually discuss in detail is this whole TikTok situation, a tainted thing that's going to be towards just TikTok, or is this a bigger snowfall that we as citizens can potentially see? So my thoughts on if it gets banned is this video is gonna be pretty much cut and dry, and I have notes, but you know how I like to still right. TT, I'm over on TikTok. And I'm in a TT about the whole thing with lawmakers were banning it on governmental phones, and then how creators should start to diversify their reach when it comes to utilizing different platforms, especially having some kind of a hub such as YouTube, a hub such as a landing page slash website, so you can start bringing people in. And interestingly enough, taking a step further from that, that you should try to gather information from your community so you can communicate with them outside of the social media, like in the form of email, SMS, whichever you. The song and dance that we're seeing right now with ByteDance, so, which is the parent company to TikTok. But the thing is, I think it's going to get banned? I hope not, because the commentary in which I have been a little privy about, not only with here this case, but other cases that I've been seeing, is that the people that are actually asking the questions and probing into the information, they don't fully understand what the platform or situation that they're actually asked a question about is concrete. Some of the questions y'all probably have heard it, something about Wi-Fi and all that. And I'm like, babes, if you're going to if you're going to probe about something, at least have an accurate positioning on what you're probing about and how it works. I seen this when we were talking when we saw the whole stance when it comes to cryptocurrency and things and the whole regulation track that we're getting ready to see with that. This is giving you a heads up that it's coming even more forcefully going into the second half of this year. But the questions that they have asked has gave me an insight into the probability of this happening or the suggestion for them to do something different. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But I don't think it's going to be a complete ban, but you have to fully understand. I know I had to make stuff right. Anyway, there is a way for you to understand that if they don't have a complete ban, it's something that's going to come in clause that I want to discuss. But the reason why I don't think that it's going to be a complete ban, I hope not, is because if they do, it's kind of giving a leeway that y'all really don't care about people's freedom of speech. Keep it cut and dry. And like I said, the questions have been it's some of them are giving boomer, and some of them are just like you don't freaking understand, even if you were millennial or not. And I'm just being honest that the questions that they ask, they don't know the platform and how it brings people together. I was kind of apprehensive about TT a while when I started back during the pandemic, at the height of the pandemic. It's more than just dancing. I hate this. I hate this to be to tell y'all it's more than just dancing. I've come to love it as not only as a content creator, but of a consumer of content, because it's you see a business is booming. Keith Lee and what he's been doing, and other people that have been doing amazingly well, and just adding that community aspect to what we have not been seeing due to the fact that people are song and dancing with algorithms instead of actually having a connection with people, in which what TikTok gives people is the whole actual and reality of having a community. You don't have to be so pointing with the algorithm or to be aesthetically pleasing or whatever you want to call it. That it's about community, but also getting information that you might not have been able to receive in other places that we have be that are free for right now. The thing of it is that one of the things that I felt that was cool about TikTok was the fact that we're seeing more older people on TikTok, not necessarily dancing like they with their grandkids, but actually giving us insight into how things used to be for them back in the day. You know how you go to a cookout or you go to church or whatever, you have that older person and they're like, back in my day, you actually get a real time aspect of that from older people. And I also am loving seeing older influencers. They're giving their take on it, and it's actually very good and prime for those businesses that actually are utilizing social media. So it's more than just dancing. It's about the diversification of voices and community that we're seeing on the clock app or the tick or TT as I have affectionately called her. I honestly, it's like you just dance. This is dancing. That's what I used to think until I started making content and actually start consuming content. And I think the theory of and what I wish TikTok will probably start doing as we move through wherever's to come is that showing that they have been doing this. Actually, I've been seeing this on not only the app, but I want them to bring it out the app. It's that it's not just dancing; it's a dancing of community and conversations within the app. And interestingly enough, you probably have noticed a lot of TTs or TikToks starting to actually show up on other platforms, which is probably why you're seeing the whole push for taking the watermark off because they've already seen the wealth of information and community that is already been seen on TikTok. But yeah, we move. Along with the another thing that I've been intrigued about is the push that we see not on TikTok but on other platforms for verification. So the whole verification thing is giving me this right here. Because when it comes to social media, yes, it used to be free, yes, it's free, whatever, but it's getting ready to be different layers of what we anticipate and experience when it comes to social media. To see platforms start to say, oh, if you pay this or pay that, ain't that what technically what this whole net thing was to be about a couple years ago? Like you could develop your own theories about it, but if it's not coming to pass now, some variations of it will be starting to build out beyond just a subscription base. I know subscriptions are a big thing. It started off with fan base. I love fan base. They're black owned social media app. But I noticed that when they launched and have been doing so well, that you're seeing a matriculation over other platforms to push you to pay for verification or subscription to be able to utilize and align with the platform and algorithm and tech, whatever, and help, you know, tech's apart. But that's the whole thing is that whole theory that we're seeing with verifications, they're offering that due to the fact they're noticing a migration of those people that were booming and doing well on their platforms are starting to now go over to TT and pop without even a check. I see people that have the check over on TikTok. They are notable or known within the app, but there's also people that have well over 2 million followers who are still getting these deals, who are still getting the notoriety without even the check. So that's actually showing the hand of what we're seeing that we could be watching play out when it comes to verification. The next thing, in which actually prompt me to do a video, is the fact that in happenstance, there is a 90% chance if it does get banned that here's the, the anchoring that is being propositioned that TikTok ByteDance could potentially be either IPO'd or forced to do an IPO or be sold to an American company. Which this actually that part right there is giving me ick because if you think about it, they like to say data being given to China. Well, what about the data that we're able to utilize, but also the data in which social media platforms are able to orchestrate or do the storytelling aspect to give to whoever paid for it? on the other side. I tweeted this out a couple of days ago. Is that yes, all platforms have some. They have to have data, but they also have to position the data to prove their positioning within whatever they're doing, and also, whichever way they want to bring even more value. I'm not gonna call out a platform that we all know who's probably driving this show a little bit, but they have data. They share data. What's the problem with TikTok? I got a tongue tied, but yeah, the whole probability of them actually having to falsify an IPO or to fit on the unload is crazy. And interestingly enough, a lot of people, I follow IPOs, obviously due to what I do. But they were ByteDance was actually considering an IPO, but that was at the peak of the pandemic. But due to the fact that we saw what's going on with the IPO landscape, like other companies that have pushed their IPOs back until either 2024 or even later, is they already considered it. They've already talked about it. It's been news. I talked about it previously. But the fact that y'all are trying to do this now is y'all ain't slick. But the whole thing is that if determined that this is the route that they have to take, they have between 3 to 6 months to either go public or unknow their company to the American company, which if you could read my tonality within that to know this ain't it. This is not how you go. So here are some of the companies that have been floating around that have the cash and the cap to actually undergird acquisition of TikTok. Some of them are kind of okay, I get, but some of them like just because they got the cash. So the other reason for the IPO push, and I made sure to note take this, is a form called an S1, which pretty much goes into two parts. And if you, it's not just going to be designated for ByteDance TikTok. It is a common form that is utilized with IPOs. S1 actually has two parts: a prospectus, which breaks down how the company's been performing, all different intricate parts, and as well as another one, and privately held information. So, granted, they may have presented those that are probing them with information. S1 will give them a little bit more detail into how the company has been operating, how the company stands, margins, and things of that nature. So, honestly, that S1 is what I heard and read this article saying about of IPO. I instantly thought about an S1. I instantly thought about how pretty much all the information we public, no pun, but the fact of the matter is too, they'll actually give market insight into who he playing, who he playing in this pickup game in. He knows from a high level, but he'll know for a more intricate level. But people can get information how they want to get it. But the thing, there are actually three ways when it comes to determining the ways to go public or IPO. The first one is traditional, and we already know what that is. We've been seeing it in the news. Another one that has been trending, well, it's not trending some more because they haven't performed well, are SPACs, which are considered blank checks, and then direct lists. That I'm putting all what they mean here. The thing that I am concerned about with this is that they're forcing an IPO for them to potentially, if they don't do the traditional, it's more than likely going to be a direct list due to the time span on which they are wanting this to happen. But the fact of the matter is, y'all are pushing their hand to do that during a season in which things have not been performing well for IPOs or companies in that matter. Heck, a lot of companies that have performed well in the past are going through layoffs, shakeoffs, and acquisitions. Heck, Disney is even laying off 7,000. So what does that tell you? The mice wants to slice the cheese a little bit differently. So my theory is that either the case is going to have to be heard again and again and push this out even more. It's not going to be a complete ban. It's going to be some things that are done in place because, interestingly enough, TikTok was considering a project called Project Texas, which will bring, I believe, operations here of some sort. Here's some more to you about what Project Texas was. But my whole theory is this: the fact that we're even hearing about this is annoying, and now we're having new apps like Lemonade come on, and I'm like, dang it. Like we just learned this, we love it, and now anyway, we move. But the fact of the matter is that this has gotten to the level that it has is alarming for multiple reasons that I have discussed previously. But I don't. If it doesn't get banned now, they're going to work even harder. They're going to be like, "What's that? The devil works hard, but Steve Madden works harder." They get ready to make it hard or for it to happen. But they are either actively pushing them to do an IPO for them to get information about stakeholders and companies and insight and how it's working. I do think if they were to push them to do an IPO, it'd be more unlikely on the direct, meaning right then, due to the time span. I could be wrong. They could allow them to do a traditional one. Companies like the ones that have been listed to potentially purchase them, with forefront in my mind. If it is Microsoft. They have the cash to do it. They have the wherewithal, and it actually aligns to their initiatives to actually move into the social media space. Technically, they have LinkedIn, but yet we move. Um, but that goes to show you how this ain't really the land of the free anymore. And that you have, if you're a creator, go ahead and diversify. But if you are just a regular person, technically we all creators in our own right. That you should really be watching what's going on, not only with this, but verification. TikTok is not about all dancing. This case shows that there's another dance happening in the background. So let me know. What do you think? Don't forget to follow me on not only on here but other social media platforms. I'm also starting to write now on Substack, and I give blog content on my website. That's it.